up, people? Welcome back to the channel. I actually already filmed a ban list prediction, but when I got a couple, I ended up seeing some more information. Kind of had some time to think about it, and I really wasn't satisfied with my essential prediction. But now that I've seen some of the cards that have come out in Terminal Revenge, I'm like sure about it, and I've kind of seen what's been like reprinted and kind of know where we're at. This is essentially my ban list prediction. I know last time I got a lot of heat because it was my fault. I used a bad analogy to justify why I believe anti-spell fragrance needed to be limited to one. Started talking about valence and I made myself sound like some pendulum player sympathizer, whatever. I am not a pendulum player sympathizer. I just use a bad analogy. But either way, I am back here with another ban list prediction. So if you like what we do, please feel free to like and subscribe. If not, it is all cool. Still trying to get a 500 subscribers. Got a lot of cool stuff planned. So let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see, we're starting with the ban section with Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess. I know this is pretty much a copy and paste choice from a lot of people and from the last ban list, but seeing as that came in Rarity collection and that Konami might be kind of wanted to encourage more back and forth gameplay and stop those big oppressive unbreakable negate boards, because I feel like Konami doesn't mind if we have a lot of back and forth boards, but when we have boards where it's interruptions plus negates, I think that's kind of where Konami is trying to kind of get away from that. So I do feel like they might be wanting to ban Apollosa, Bow of the Goddess. I really don't want to see her go, but that's kind of what I feel Konami is kind of going for. IP Masquer is kind of the same principle, I guess, of Apollosa, to where it got reprinted in Rarity collection. It is part of the end board of not only Snake Eye, but a lot of any combo deck that's trying to make a hard to defeat monster, whether it's Avermax or you're trying to push for game with some type of OTK monster so it doesn't get destroyed, or maybe you're trying to interrupt your opponent with a Nightmare Unicorn. There's a lot of different options that IP Masquer allows you to do, and this also might be a way for them to hit Snake Eye without them essentially hitting Snake Eye, because we do know that Snake Eye Ash is going to be a ultimate rare in the upcoming tournament pack. So I do feel they are going to want to keep Snake Eye around, especially because the Fiendsmith engine is going to allow them to kind of keep their power level up. So I feel like hitting IP Masquerade would be a way for them to hit it without having to hit some the more core cards. So IP Masquerade getting banned, don't be surprised if this is something that ends up happening. Snake Eye Flambridge is something that I was going back and forth. In my last list, I think I had it at 1, but now I'm kind of thinking about it, and it's Konami might want to sit there and kind of I don't want to say put the nail into Snake Eye, because Snake Eye is extremely dominant, and one of those reasons is having Flambridge Dragon there to be able to whether it's playing around certain hand traps or be able to extend in a certain way, having to bring it back, putting stuff in the back. So I feel like Konami could say, okay, if we leave enough of maybe Snake Eye Ash and Poplar and some of these OTK cards and these other extenders, the Snake Eye engine, leaving the Snake Eye engine alone and leaving that stuff, and then introducing the Fiendsmith engine, that right there could be enough to keep the deck at a very high level. But getting rid of Snake Eye Flambridge could like I said, get rid of their ability to make these incredible boards that are just 100% playing around certain board breakers, certain hand traps. So Snake Eye Flambridge Dragon is a card that I originally said would go to 1. I kind of feel like it's going to have to go to 0. And this one right here, Barrier Statue of the Torrent, this one I feel like will be hit as a this will be a preemptive hit, because we have, I believe it is the Ice Barrier deck has the ability to summon this out from the deck. There's a couple combos. That's something that I'm kind of experimenting with right now, and I'm kind of noticing that this could be a similar situation to where when you had the Tri Brigade summoning some Morg, and summoning some Morg to get out the barrier, to the barrier wind statue. To be honest, I feel like they might just want to say, screw this, let's just go ahead and just get rid of this, because Flunderies can incorporate this into their strategy as well by adding a small world package. Well, not even a small world package, just by adding small world into their deck, they're able to use some of their birds, because they're waters, to bridge into this card and allow them to normal summon it off of their I believe they can normal summon it off of the M pen. So there is a way that Floowandereeze could abuse this card the same way they used to abuse the barrier statue, the Stormwind. So, and then like with the new Ice Barrier strategy coming out, I feel like Konami might want to just get ahead of it and ban the water barrier statue as well. I'll be on the Sanctifier Dragon. I was kind of going back and forth to whether like are they really going to be hitting branded? And then in my original list I had them not hitting branded at all, but then I thought about it and it's like, you know what, branded has been around for a very long time. If anything, they might go one of two ways. We'll talk about another one later on, but I believe Albon would be a way they'd hit it, because they're probably not gonna want to get rid of the gimmick puppet, because you could just replace it with so many different monsters to get the same effect, and you have the gimmick puppet support that's going to be coming out. So I feel that like Konami say, look, I'd rather just keep this, keep that as an option for them to use, and then just get rid of this option from the branded decks. That way they have to play more, kind of lean more onto the Ice Jade Chimera kind of plays and stuff. So that way they can, they kind of focus on that. Maybe go back to a heavy focus on the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So we'll see, but like I do feel like Albon Sanctifier Dragon does need to get banned, go to 0. And the Dimensional Shifter is something originally, actually I think I had it on 0 on my other list, and I was gonna put it maybe at 2. So potentially Konami might want to sit there and kind of play with it going to 2, but I feel like this is a card that's like max seat, where we either need to have it at 0 or at 3. Because if we have it at 1, it's going to be extremely sacky. If we have it at 2, it's going to be a little off and a little inconsistent, but still be enough copies to where it's going to be a problem. So it's either you have Dimensional Shifter in the meta to stop, like the graveyard stuff and kind of keep it in check, or you just get rid of it outright. And I mean, you just get rid of Dimensional Shifter completely. And to be honest, with some of the newer cards that I've seen, well, not just newer cards, but like some of the newer strategies that they've been implementing, and plus you also have them reprinting the Infernoids, they might want to kind of give the graveyard just a little bit of an extra push, and they might want to just go ahead and get rid of Shifter. Because if it's at 1, it's going to feel very sacky. It might kind of scare people away. But if Dimensional Shifter is gone, and maybe, like I said, because like we do have Macrocosmo and Dimensional Fissure, so we do have other ways to kind of handle the graveyard, just not on turn 1. So I don't know. We'll see about this, but like this one right here, a lot of people have been calling for it to get banned for a long time. Wind-Up Carrier Zen Matey. This one I always kind of have to give a shout out. I want this card to come back to 1. We're gonna start. Okay, so now actually this is my sign. We are moving on to the limit. Everything that needs to be limited to 1. Please bring back Carriers in Mighty. If we bring in a 1, we don't have to worry about any kind of hand loop for Wind-Up Hunter. I just want to have 1 available to kind of do some more wind-up combos. So that would be like really cool. And then okay, so the first official card that I have right here on my prediction will be Pot of Prosperity 2/1. Originally, I was gonna maybe say this might be semi-limited, similar to what they did with Pot of Desire, but back when Rescue Ace and Unchained were like really good, people were kind of calling for this card, it's oppressive, has to get banned, this and that, blah blah, so good. And then now that you have Tenpai Dragon, and Tenpai Dragon kind of might be one of the decks that they're gonna be stepping up, and they get OTK through this card. You kind of sense that maybe it's time for Pot of Prosperity to be brought to 1. If anything, maybe they might just kind of they might just leave it untouched, because this is also one of the best draw cards that you could essentially put into the game right now for Yu-Gi-Oh, because it does kind of force whoever plays it to either play or build their deck in a specific way to make sure they're able to operate while losing those cards, but in order to get the benefit. So there is a good fair trade-off, but at the same time I do understand where Konami might kind of want to sit there and say, hey, you know what, there's a lot of decks that can kind of just play through this if it's nothing, and it's just giving them way too much advantage. So Prosperity to 1 might be where they want to go. Skill Drain to 1 is obvious. So, I feel like Skill Drain at 3 was fine until we started to get into these more crazier tier 0 hardcore formats, to where it goes from it pretty much went from okay, cool, Skill Drain's back, well, stun decks and Labyrinth and maybe Altergeist are going to be able to have some kind of way to play again. They'll be able to kind of go back and forth, but but we still have answers for it. But now when you kind of like when we have decks like Snake Eye and all these like really hardcore oppressive decks, all they do is just put up like a big board and then just kind of sit there. And if they're in a bad spot, they could just flip a skill drain, and you're essentially having to play from so if like you're trying to play from so far behind that it pretty much just comes like it becomes a mountain that is just completely impossible for you to climb. So having having skill drain go back to 1 just kind of makes sense right now, even though like I said, even though it's only because of the format that the format that we're in. Although there's a lot of people that might disagree. They might feel that no matter what format, skill drain is super broken. It is a very broken card. I'm not saying it's not broken, but I do feel like because of the type of deck we have right now, we do have to see skill drain go back to 1. So Snake Eye Oak. This is like another hit that pretty much instead of putting Ash here at 1, we're gonna put Snake Eye Oak. I guess like my whole idea is Konami kind of wants to make it seem like they're actually trying to hit like the Snake Eye strategy, but they're actually just trying to bring some of that a super oppressive combo power down, because the Fiendsmith engine, like I said, it's just gonna give them the ability to replace a lot of a lot of that lost power. So I feel like them bringing like Snake Eye Oak, Oak, if they ban Flamberge, bring Snake Eye Oak to 1, it'll basically give them a lot of starters. They still have a lot of bodies to do their combos, and then they add the Fiendsmith engine to add a high Wave King Caesar or a Beatrice play, and do still be able to make extensions or end boards with that. But like I said, with having only 1 of these, if your opponent breaks that, it's not going to be as easy just to be able to do it next turn without having to worry about it. So that's kind of how I feel like Snake Eye Oak, also with Flamberge getting hit, might be the way to go. So that way it's more like you got to have the right follow-up. If not, there isn't just like put a board out there and then just be able to have the exact same follow-up every single time. So that's kind of like my justification for having Snake Eye Ash at 1. Heavy Storm 2-1. This is kind of a bold prediction, but I kind of feel that Konami is kind of trying to slowly peel off some of these older I guess like back in the day for seen as like cards that could never come off the ban list. After the past 3 years, we have seen a lot of those cards that quote unquote could never come off the ban list. I might want to do a video about that actually. But Heavy Storm is one of those examples to where maybe it is time for us to give it a shot. But like I said, at any point it could be put back on. Maybe it might be too soon. But this is a bold prediction. Heavy Storm to 1. That might be like really cool. Alright, and then Branded Fusion. So Branded Fusion, I was going back and forth, but I'm going to go ahead and say Branded Fusion to 1. Why am I saying Branded Fusion to 1? I know I already got rid of the Sanctifier Dragon, and that kind of be enough. Like even if we get rid of Sanctifier, you still have the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon to worry about. You still have like a lot of other stuff, like that they have to combo off. You even have you could even kind of maybe pull off some type of synchro plays with someone like the newer support that they have. So I do feel like if Konami kind of wants to keep Branded around as like a deck where people could, kind of like how like BA was and Phantom Knights, where it's like that dark deck that people could kind of like use and come in and play. They don't have to put too much commitment in, but it's not strong enough to just constantly dominate, because having 3 Branded Fusion, like the deck's gonna still be very consistent and be able to put up a lot of impressive boards. So Branded Fusion to 1, a little bit of bold take, but I feel like this one could come down to 1 as well. So now we're gonna go down to the limit 2. So I got 3 cards that I feel like Konami's gonna limit to, and the last 3 are gonna be like gotta have a little bit of explanation for why I believe they might do this. But this one right here, Fire King High Avatar Kieran. This one right here, I've had this on the list for a while. I kind of wanted to go down in the last list, but I feel that like another way that they could hit this, the Snake Eye deck, is getting rid of like not only getting rid of some of the stuff in the end board, getting rid of its ability to continue to like kind of combo off, but also to get rid of its ability to play around hand traps, which is why if they don't have the Flamberge, they lose the ability to play around certain hand traps, and then if they don't have as many copies of the High King Avatar, they kind of lose that ability too. So seeing this kind of come down to 2 is just kind of like a formality that I feel like they might want to do. The next one that I want to see get bumped up to 2 would be Monster Gate. So like I said, I noticed that they reprinted a lot of the Infernoid cards, and I know Monster Gate is like so freaking good in the Infernoid deck. Anything that really sends cards to the graveyard is like really good in that deck, especially in mass. So like I said, if Konami kind of wants to increase people's interest in playing graveyard based decks, seen like having Monster Gate, you know, like back like at 2, maybe even at 3, but you know, like could be something to explore. The next card also, Reasoning. It just recently got reprinted in Rarity Collection 1, if I'm not mistaken. So you know, so there is like high rarities. People aren't really thinking about it, and this is what kind of one of those things that can kind of be like some type of surprise, where you do have the Lightsworn strategy, and you also have the Inferno idea. You have a lot of graveyard based decks that are kind of like that are older, that just got some new support that maybe Konami wants to bump up. Maybe even you could even add that into the Snake Eye deck, like depending on, you know, what cards they get rid of. So seeing Monster Gate Reasoning being brought back to 2 that's something kind of like that I you know, that I would like to kind of see Konami kind of chew. And then the last card that I want to talk about is That Grass Looks Greener. So this card has already like really shot up in the market. Like, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say it shot up, but it's kind of slowly been going up, and now it's beginning a lot of popularity because of some of the reprints. And I don't think Konami would bring this back to 2. I believe this would probably come back to 1. I didn't want to put it in the beginning because I wanted this card to be at the end, because I'm not really that confident that they would go this far, because this right here creates a secondary level of like Yu-Gi-Oh, to where you're not, to where it's like you're pretty much, you're only like one of the best ways to counter this deck is to play this deck. So it kind of just it just, like, you know, encourages like a meta of people playing the exact same deck. So I'm not sure if they want to bring That Grass Looks Greener back into the meta, but if they did, I believe it would be at 1. So because you know, it'd still be Saki, but at the same time we have a lot of ways to deal with it. If they keep Shifter, then Shifter would kind of check this. We got Ash now, so Ash would completely check this. And you know, yeah, you know, like there's like we got a lot of ways we be able to check this card now. So if they bring it to 1, like I said, it will still be crazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it won't be crazy, but that's it for the video, guys. That's my, you know, that's my prediction for the Banlist coming up. It actually was a little bit longer than I thought. Originally it was a little bit shorter, but like I said, I kind of had a little bit of a better idea what I want to do for this list. So let me know down in the comments below what you think. Peace out, and I'll catch you in the next one.